Hi, welcome to this quick flow. This is a great one for my friends who like to cycle. We're gonna stretch our legs out after our cycle class. Feel free to pause at any point if you feel like you wanna hold the stretch a little bit longer. We're not gonna be doing any vinyasas today. We're just gonna get to it and try and get this quick release so you can get on with your day. So come up to a tabletop position. We're gonna do some cat-cows. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then we're going to inhale into cow, exhale, push the ground away, tuck that tailbone into cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat, and feel free to take some liberties here if you want to do maybe some barrel rolls from one side to the other. Just remember to inhale and exhale. Inhale, and then I want you to flip your grip so your palms are facing forward and your fingers are facing towards your knees, stretching through those forearms. You need to do that after gripping handlebars for so long. Exhale, cat. And then go ahead and drop your hips back and peel your hands off of the mat gently, stretching through those forearms and those fingers only as far as feels comfortable for you. Maybe try that one more time. Gently peel your hands off the mat. Good, and then shake up your wrists. You're gonna come back into that tabletop. Kick your left leg out to the side, and then you're gonna drop back into a child's pose. So you can sit back on that heel or on the ground, feeling a stretch through that inner thigh. Tenting your fingertips is going to stretch through your shoulders a little bit more, making this more of an active stretch. If this is too much, you can always drop elbows to the ground, making it a bit more of a passive stretch. Do what you feel like you need to do for your body, but make sure that you're still breathing. Core is lightly engaged in this pose. And then come back up, bring your knee in, kick your other leg out to the side, and drop back into that child's pose. Letting your neck hang gently. If you have a block, you can always put it under your forehead, rest your forehead on the block. Crawling your fingertips forward a little bit more, getting a little bit more into that stretch. And then come back up to tabletop. We're gonna take our right leg forward, so foot is up by that right hand, and we're in a low lunge. So we're gonna go from this low lunge back to a half split. So in your half split, you wanna keep your hips in alignment with each other, pulling that right hip back, stretching through that hamstring. You can bring your toes, try and bring your toes to your face, and then come back to that low lunge. You can keep your hands on the ground for some support if you'd like. Or if you want, you can even bring your hands back, getting a little bit more into the stretch. Arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lunge. One more, exhale, fold. I want you to hold this fold here for a second. So you're in this half split, come up a bit, and then bring your left hand over your right leg, stretching over that leg. Keeping your hips square, don't move your legs at all. You're just twisting. And if you can crawl those fingertips over to the side a little bit more, you're gonna get a nice side body stretch. Good, come back into that low lunge. Feel free to pad your knee here so you can fold your mat over in half, which actually I'm gonna do because this floor is very unforgiving. So we're gonna do a King Arthur seat. So I'm in a 90-degree angle, and I'm gonna try and bring that back foot towards my glute. You can hold onto something here. You can hold onto your knee for support. You can hold onto a wall, tucking that tailbone so you feel that nice quad and hip stretch. If you have the balance, finding one spot so you don't move, bring your other hand back and pull that foot in. Don't tweak your knee. Make sure that this feels good. If it's too intense, you can go ahead and let it loose a little bit. Good, go ahead and release. We're gonna come back into that low lunge. So maybe curl your toes back and forward a little bit so you're dipping down into that hip a bit. Bring your hands forward. And then you're gonna just peel them away, kind of like a bow and arrow. Exhale. Inhale, hands together. Exhale, open. We'll do that one more time. Exhale, open. Holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. Good. Here we're gonna do a lizard pose. So bring your hands down to the mat. You can be up on blocks if you need to. You can have your hands on the mat, or if you have a little bit more flexibility in your hips, feel free to come down to your forearms. Do what feels good in your body. In this lizard pose, you could even come up onto your toes if you want a slightly different stretch. This is your practice. You decide what feels good in your body and where you need that stretch. You could even go onto the blade side of that foot and open your hip a bit. Oof. Hips are tight. Maybe gently pressing on the thigh. Don't press on your knee, press on your thigh just a little bit. And then from here, if you're not in this pose, go ahead and come down onto your knee, blade side foot, and then you're going to bring that back foot in, reach back with your right hand, grabbing your left foot, and pushing your foot into your hand. So you're broadening through your collarbones, opening up through that chest, and also getting a nice hip stretch. Breathing, inhale, exhale, gently release. Good, bring that foot back, come into a down dog for a moment, and go ahead and just pedal it all out. One hip, one leg is going to feel a lot different than the other, so let's even it out. Bring that left foot forward into that low lunge. Okay, so we're gonna do that half split low lunge first. So we're in this low lunge and then come back into the half split. Ooh, this side is tighter. I have a hamstring injury, so I gotta baby it a little bit. Low lunge, inhaling, exhaling to a forward fold, half split, keeping those hips square. So that one hip's gonna try and come forward, try and pull it back so that it is square with your right hip. Maybe lift your arms up and then bring your hands back, testing your balance a little bit. Maybe feeling the stretch a little bit differently. Inhaling, exhaling. Good, now remember, hold this half split, come up a little bit, and then reach your right hand over your left leg, stretching into that side. Breathing, keeping those hips square, keeping that foot flexed, feeling that stretch through the hamstring. Crawl the fingertips if you can. Good, then come back into a low lunge. Maybe pad your knee. Come into that 90-90. We're doing that King Arthur seat again. So find your focal point so that you won't topple. And you can stay here if you want, tucking that tailbone so you feel that stretch through the hip. And bring that back foot in if you can. Quad cramps happen. Hamstring cramps happen, so make sure you shake those out if you're feeling it. And if you have this and you want to try, you can bring your other hand back, pulling it in, rolling your shoulder blades, shoulders down and back. Breathing, this one is intense. And then gently release. Good. Tuck that mat. Crawl, maybe try and crawl your feet apart a little bit more so you can kind of dip into that hip, pushing that hip towards the ground. Bringing your hands forward. We're gonna do that bow and arrow pose again. So inhale, and then exhale, twist to the back. Inhale, hands together. Exhale, peel it back. Inhale, hands together. Exhale, peel it back. We'll do it one more time and then we'll hold it. Inhale, hands together. Exhale, peel it back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and cartwheel your hands down into this lizard pose. So again, you can take this on your knee or you can lift up onto your toes, whatever you feel you need today. Breathing. Maybe come down onto the forearms on this side. This side is a lot tighter for me, so I don't know if I've got it today, but I'll try. Making sure you're breathing through these poses. hip stretches can be super intense. But if you breathe, it tells your body, I'm okay, don't freak out. Okay, so here we're going to drop onto the blade side foot. Oh, blade side of our foot, pushing that hip away a little bit. And if you want to take that funky monkey, bring your left hand back, grabbing that right foot and pulling it into your glute, feeling that stretch, pushing your chest forward, feeling that stretch in your quad, and your hip, and your shoulders, and back, everywhere. I love this stretch. If you need a little bit deeper, you can come down onto your elbow, but that can be really intense, so it's totally up to you. Okay, gently release, and then we're gonna push back into that down dog for a second. Ooh, pedal your feet out. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more even than you were before. Okay, we're gonna drop down onto our knees into that tabletop again. Lift your right leg, cross it behind your left leg, so your knees are kind of on top of each other, and then you're just gonna sit down into this cow face pose. So I'm actually gonna turn to face you. So you can take cow face. If cow face is too intense, you can do a double pigeon or a fire log, so you have ankle on top of knee, knee on top of ankle. You can always put a blanket or a block here for support. I'm gonna take cow face today. Bringing your heels closer to your glutes is gonna be a less intense stretch. If you want more, just bring your heels away. So, but make sure that you're sitting flat on your sits bones. You don't wanna be just sitting on one hip, you wanna be flat. So knees in line with each other as best as possible. We're gonna take some eagle arms. So reach your arms out like you're gonna give yourself a big hug, and then cross your left arm over your right, and you can hug yourself, keep it there, or you can have back of hands to touch, or if you can do the full wrap, bring palms to touch. Breathing, so you're stretching your shoulders and your hips in this one. Maybe play around with the shoulder placement a little bit, find where you need that stretch. You could even round forward and bring your elbows to your knees, feeling a nice stretch through the upper back, coming back up, kind of taking cat-cows in this cow face shape. And we're gonna hold it for just a few more breaths. Go ahead and release your arms. I'm gonna show you a cool trick here, okay? So the leg that is on top, you're gonna bring your hands over to that side, towards that foot. You're gonna lift up onto the sides of your feet, twist around, and come back down into cow face on the other side. So now my right leg is on top of my left leg. Now you know a cool party trick. Okay, so getting settled into your cow face, making sure you're sitting on your sits bones. Open your arms wide like you're gonna give yourself a hug, and then you're going to bring your left arm under your right and give yourself a big hug, or back of hands to touch, or palms. Sometimes one side is easier than the other. That is totally normal. We are not fully balanced, but we're going to try to be balanced. So again, go ahead and move those elbows up and down. Find where you need that stretch. Once you find that sweet spot, just sit there and hold it and breathe. Maybe take some of those roundings and slight arching. Find what feels good for you. This is your practice, like I said. And I'm not gonna be there like a drill sergeant telling you, you have to do it this way. Everybody is different, and every day you're gonna feel different. Just make sure you're breathing. Good, okay, go ahead and uncross those arms, uncross those legs. Ugh. And we're gonna come to our backs. We're gonna come to our backs. So go ahead and roll back onto your back. Take your right leg, cross it over. You're gonna cross your ankle over your knee. It's like how guys sit in a chair. That's how you're gonna sit. You can stay here if this feels intense enough, or if you would like, lightly engage your core, bring your knee into your chest. You can grab behind your thigh or around your knee, pulling it into your chest, making sure that foot is flexed. It's gonna protect your knee. And you can even use that elbow to kind of push your knee. Well, actually it's your thigh, pushing your thigh away so you can get a bit more of a hip stretch. So bringing that knee in, pushing the other thigh out, feeling a deep stretch on that right side. Breathing. And then we're going to go ahead and let that foot just drop all the way to the ground. So you've got a nice twist, keeping your shoulders flat on the ground, holding that ankle, reaching your other hand over to the side. You can play with the movement of that knee. See what feels good. Breathing. On an exhale, bring your legs back into your chest and go ahead and swap. So left ankle crosses over right knee. Either stay here and you can kind of play with it here, or bring your knee into your chest. Using that elbow to push your thigh away. Foot is flexed, knee to chest. Breathing. I know I say that a lot, but I'm going to make sure that you're breathing. And then just gently let that foot drop to the ground for a nice spinal twist. Reaching your other arm up to the side, maybe looking up towards your hand. Maybe playing with the placement of that knee. Good. And then on the exhale, bring your legs back in. And then we're just going to roll over onto our bellies. And we're going to do some cactus rolls. So, this is going to stretch your shoulders. Go ahead and you can keep your arms straight out to the side if you want. If you want a bit more of a shoulder stretch, go ahead and bend your arms so it looks like a cactus. So you have a 90-degree angle. You're going to tent your fingertips, and then this left leg is going to scorpion over, and you're going to roll over onto that shoulder. This hand is going to give you the leverage to push yourself over. You can bend your knee. You can let it lay flat on top of the other one, whatever feels good for you. But we're breathing through the stretch for this shoulder. Resting your temple on the ground. Good, come back to center. Take your other arm either straight out to the side or cactus it. Lay your head down. You're going to take that right foot now and you're going to twist it over and back like a scorpion, using your right hand to now leverage you and push you so you get that shoulder stretch. This feels good. I like this one. This is one of my favorites. I do this every day. Make sure you're breathing. Good. Come back to center. And then take your hands by your rib cage and then just gently push up into a light cobra, if that feels good. Lowering down. Push up into cobra, gently getting a nice low back stretch and shoulder stretch. Core is lightly engaged here. Come down, and then when you're ready, you can tuck your toes, push up into a plank, bring your knees in. Come to a seated position. And actually come up onto your toes so we can stretch our feet because they've been in those shoes. I think this is called like toe crusher or something like that. It can be very intense for some people, but it's a great stretch for your feet. So we're sitting up nice and tall. Go ahead and reach your arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Push your palms towards the ceiling and then round your back. So we're doing a cat pose in this kneeling posture. And then reach your arms back overhead. Slight arch of the back, so kind of a cow pose. And then round your back again. Come back up, reach your hands up to the sky as much as you can, and then gently release and come to a comfortable seat. There you go. I hope your legs feel a lot better. Go ahead and do this after every cycle class or whenever you feel like you need a leg release. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.